Happy Sunday, October 29th, 2023. Time for afternoon story. Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson, illustrated by Frank Morrison. Oh, this is beautiful already. Can you look at the colors? The picket signs. Yeah, something about solidarity, of purpose, unity. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm going to walk on. That's right, purpose of mind. Oh my goodness. Oh. Civil rights and the Children's Crusade. Many people forgot that there were children who went to jail back in the civil rights. And Dr. King had a lot of flack concerning that. You know, the children would organize and they would, DJ in the radio station would pretty much give the announcements as far as a walkout, and hundreds of them would go to jail, and some of them, slept overnight, and the parents, were not happy. Some of them brought their toothbrushes, but they had unity of purpose. Now let's look at what's here. January 14, 1963, Governor George Wallace makes his inauguration speech calling for segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. So that's January 14, 1963. And, wow, is that 60 years ago? Wow, 60 years ago and 10 months. And then April 3rd, the first organized sit-ins take place in downtown lunch counters. Remember Woolworths, the North Carolina A&T students? Yeah. And April 12th, Dr. Martin Luther King and other protesters are arrested after leading a nonviolent protest for demonstrating without a permit. May 2nd, D-Day, the Birmingham Children's Crusade, this is what I'm talking about, begins. By the end of the day, 973 young marchers are jailed. Yeah, we're talking about teenagers. Yeah, all ages. May 3rd, double D-Day. More protesters are arrested, most of whom are under 18. Commissioner Bull Connor authorizes the use of high-pressure water hoses and police dogs to control the crowds. Close to 1,000 are arrested. May 4th to 9th, protests escalate as more adults join the marchers. The jails are at maximum capacity with thousands of young people in prison. We did a little skit, and we had them laying on the floor, on mattresses, and then we used the back of a chair with the wooden poles as the jail bars, and it just brought to life what a lot of the people back then were willing to face. They were very courageous to take a stand. Dr. King on May 10th and other protest organizers reached an agreement with city leaders that begin the process of desegregation. The Ku Klux Klan holds a rally in the home of A.D. King, and Dr. King's brother is bombed. On May 19th, the school board expels many of the student demonstrators. Expel them, not suspend, expel. Judge overturns the expulsions just 3 days later. Good. Oh my goodness, some more. June 11, 1963, President Kennedy goes on television to speak about civil rights, urging Congress to pass legislation. July 23rd, Birmingham officially withdraws the segregation ordinances. August 28th, over 250,000 people descend on Washington, D.C. during the march to Washington, D.C., where Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech. That's August 28th, 1963, September 15th. The 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham is bombed by Klansmen and segregationists, killing 4 girls and injuring 20 other people. I told you that Melody Hobson, George Lucas' wife of Ariel Capital here in Chicago, she has, I don't know if she has a replica of the 4 girls' dresses. And I'm not sure if it's made out of metal, but I saw this piece of artwork. I was supposed to visit soon, take a class very soon, so come, expect us. But anyway, we were invited by John. But anyway, she has a replica of the 4 dresses of the girls who were bombed in that terrible, horrific episode. And it's a reminder of her. And you know, she's a billionaire, married to, like I said, the founder of Star Wars and CEO or C something OO or something up there of Ariel Capital. But she stays cognizant of why she is there. Why has she been given so much? Luke 14 or 12:48, 14:28. Too much is given, much is required. So that's for all of us who have been given so much. In November 22nd, President Kennedy is assassinated in Dallas, Texas. July 2nd, 1964, Congress passes the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlaws discrimination based on race, religion, sex, national origin. October 14th, Martin Luther King received the Nobel Peace Prize. And August 6th, 1965, the Voting Rights Act ended practices that had barred African Americans from the right to vote. So this is a power-packed book. I don't know if we're going to be able to read all this, but now that we have some context, let's dive in. Let the children march. Freedom. Open for our future. Listen, their time is now. Like I said, we are preparing them for great things. We're not holding them up, but we want them to be solid. And that's why it takes all of us, all hands on deck. 1963, Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't play on the same playground as the white kids. I couldn't go to their schools. I couldn't drink from their water fountains. There were so many things I couldn't do. Yeah. Feel me. One warm spring night, my family went to church. We weren't there to have regular services. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. He wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom. His brown eyes flashing fire and love, Dr. King told us the time had come to march. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job. Sure enough, I can't march, Daddy said. I got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulders. But this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs to be. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army, I said. I'll be fine, Daddy. I promise. Don't worry, Mama. The children. A child shall lead them. Dr. King didn't like the children being put in harm's way, but he was a daddy too, after all, right? So he understood. But he said that though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. On May 2nd, sunny Thursday, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. In a silence so loud that all could hear was my racing heart. We began to walk, hand in hand we marched, so frightened, yet certain of what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Would I be hurt? Would I be heard? Would we be heard? Would it all be worth it in the end, I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd, run from danger, run from fear. Boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, and we marched, singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong, we came. Hate dogged my heels all that day, its yellow canine teeth sharp, but courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, the police shouted the first day. Disperse or you'll get wet, the police shouted the second day. Disperse or we'll release the dogs, the police shouted the third day. We did not dispense. We kept on marching. We wouldn't stop until things started to change. Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, and even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water, stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward and I fell to my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. Don't worry about your children, he said. They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail, for they are doing a job for not only themselves, but for all of America and for all of mankind. That had to be scary for parents to see their children handcuffed and being taken away. Woo! That night, crowded into a cell too small for even half of the kids, we sang, "We shall overcome, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, and freedom is coming." Our parents couldn't be there with us, but still we sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. They were taught well, right? It's in them. If you input it in them, it's going to be retrieved at the right time. I was still in jail, but we heard that the next day and the next, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to sting us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm going to walk on. We thank them. We thank them for that courage, because we couldn't have half of the freedoms we have today. Talking about the Statue of Liberty's birthday was yesterday. We talked about Juneteenth yesterday. Come on. Let's not take it for granted that we can just do and go where we please and enjoy. Turn the other cheek, we have been taught. Show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us. But for 7 days we walked only in love. The jail swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. Daddy said the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march would become a memory, a small part of a larger story. But we had been heard, and the seeds of revolution were sown. What seeds are we planting today? Seeds of waste or discord, or something that's valuable? 2 days and nights I stayed in the jail. Some stayed even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore, and my best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as the Mississippi River. I had made a difference. I'm so proud of you, baby girl, Mama said. Your march was what made them see. With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in an Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of the city. Desegregation would begin. The end of separation. Ooh, beautiful. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march made the difference. We children led the way, singing the songs of freedom. 1,000 strong we came. So that's why we have that context, that background information. Oh my goodness. I have this picture of the kids in the holes Oh, I know that I don't have time to read all this. The children and teens of Birmingham in 1963 changed the world in ways they could never have imagined. Yeah, do your research. Let's read about the author Monica Clark Robinson. She's passionate about stories, writing them, acting them on stage. And she lives in a yurt in the country with her husband, too many cats, and just the right amount of daughters. Okay. And the illustrator Frank Morrison visited the Louvre Museum in Paris with his dancing group, and he realized painting was his true creative path. His talent and hard work led him to illustrate so many, and he got the Coretta Scott King Award, and he lives in Georgia with his family. Well, this is wonderful. So, like I said, we might not be able to protest or march, but we can do something today to prepare our youth right now and for tomorrow. Let's get busy.